Dan Illman, Matt Burney are taking a look at race number 10 at Zia Park on Wednesday. We'll throw up the field for the $300,000 Zia Park Oaks at 1 16 miles, 6:12 Eastern Time, 4:12 Mountain. The one to beat, as you see on the morning line, is the 4, Proud and Fearless, 8-5 for trainer Larry Jones. Proud and Fearless graded stakes place this year, second in the Delaware Oaks, and you can't complain about her effort in the cotillion last time out. She was 66-1. There wasn't a lot expected out of her, and she gave a good solid performance to be beaten only 5 lengths by the likes of It Tis Well and Abel Tasman.
Highest last out buyer with a 90, highest last out time form U.S. rating with a 118. I have no knocks against her. I think she's getting the class relief that she probably wants a little bit here. She's going to work at a good trip, doesn't need to go to the lead, can if it's given to her. I can't imagine her making the front in here with a stretch out sprinter drawn just to her outside. I think she makes all the sense in the world. You brought up Abel Tasman. She was the runner-up in the British Cup Distaff. I just think this horse is way the horse to beat.
Let's look at the time form U.S. pace projector, because Matt makes a very valid point concerning Proud and Fearless. I agree with the pace projector. I think it's either going to be the 5, Kel Paso. To me, more likely the 1, Escape Clause. Either one of them sets the pace, and they pressure each other, and the 4 just sort of slides into that nice spot in third. But we'll talk a little bit about the 5, Kel Paso, who has a win at Zia, going 5.5 furlongs last time out. She blew that field away. It was one of the best races of her career, and they thought a lot of her early this season. They ran her in the Sunland Park Oaks. They ran her in the Grade 3 Fantasy, where she was less than 10-1 against Ever So Clever. Maybe at her third start of the form cycle, she's coming to herself, but if this one horse puts heat on her, stretching out all the way, 3 furlongs, I'm worried about her last in the distance.
That's the only concern, is that, boy, I understand. I kind of like the idea of just slowly stretching her out, getting her back to this distance, but boy, with the projected pace scenario, there's going to be such a hard time to put away the other gas in here, the 1, and then hold off arguably the horse to beat in the 4, and that's not including the deep 1-run closers. Maybe you get Ever So Clever who jumps up.
And you're right, Kel Paso is going to be pressured by the 1, Escape Clause. It seems like a cool little horse just by looking at her races on the PPs. A Manitoba bred, a horse that's won 9 of 13 lifetime. Last time out, though, they ran at her. They threw some speed at her at 1-5, and she got beat. This is a horse that's been running at Assinibois and at Century Downs, and it'll be interesting to see how she handles this sort of racetrack, but I think they're just going to send.
6 times in 2017, she's been 1-2 or less.
Remarkable.
So clearly, wherever she shows up, she's well met.
Sometimes they don't even take wagering.
Yeah, I was going to say, when she
match races.
She wins by 100 at that point in 21 lengths, like you say, in literally a match race. I think she's a nice horse. I just have a hard time seeing her win.
If there is a pace meltdown, it benefits the 2. Ever So Clever for many reasons. She won the Fantasy with a similar situation way back in April. Last time out in the Remington Park Oaks, she had a 180-degree different pace scenario where Champagne Room, the returning Champagne Room, the 2-year-old filly champion of 2016, just was able to waltz out there on the lead, and Ever So Clever really didn't have a chance coming from far out of it. This time out, she gets pace. She's 2-1 for Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. She would not be a surprise, but I must admit, I've never been a big fan of these 1-run closers, and I've never been a big fan of Ever So Clever.
She wouldn't be a surprise, but I would be a little bit surprised if she won, simply because you look overall at the body of work. The Remington Park Oaks, like you say, different pace scenario, and I just think Champagne Room is better than she is. The Iowa Oaks has not come back as a very good race, and you look and see. We haven't seen Chasing Girlfriend come back. Who knows what happened there? Jordan's Henny, better going short, or some other runners in there. The Kentucky Oaks, I thought that was just a really poor effort. If you want to say it was the wet track, so be it. But she had unbelievable pace to run out there. She never picked them up. And the Fantasy, Chanel's Legacy, I've always liked her, but she's a notch below. And anytime she's faced better horses, she just hasn't cut the mustard.
And number 3 is the Incident, who just won at Zia by 9. And Jerry Hollendorfer had this horse, Northern California, Southern California. Really couldn't get this horse over the hump. Last time out, this horse won easily. 70 buyer, though. She's going to have to do a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, that's the problem. She's slow on paper right now. Maybe she moves forward. I don't know if it's enough.
Sandy's Surprise is not impossible. They threw her on turf last time out. She's run a couple of good races on turf in her career, but I think dirt is her surface, as we saw at Los Al 2 starts back with a 91 buyer speed figure. But is that a situation where we say, well, it was at Los Al, and we've seen horses that have been kind of mediocre. They go over there and they just absolutely freak out, and vice versa. Was that win simply a situation of, okay, this horse is slowly coming back off of a spring and summer layoff and is getting good for a really good trainer, or was it a Los Al aided fluke?
I think it's somewhere in the middle there, because I agree with you. I think it's an instance where, okay, Los Al, take everything with a grain of salt, because weird things happen there. But You look and you see her only other victory to date came 2 turns at Santa Anita. That's when she broke her maiden. Then she's gone for all that time. She comes back sprinting, doesn't want to do that, wins that Los Al race, and then she comes back in that autumn miss, thrown to the wolves. I know it wasn't a fantastic field, but Lull and those kind of girls, they're just better than she is on turf particularly. I don't know. LaForce, the runner-up that day at Los Al, came back to earn a 90 next out. I don't think she's totally without a chance.
She's had 3 2-turn dirt races. She's won 2 of them. The other one she was in against Abel Tasman, etc. in the Grade 1 Starlet. She's interesting. The 7 is Mountain Goddess, and how can you knock a horse that's 3 for 3 lifetime? But she is going to have to stretch all the way out and face better horses. She handled Kel Paso last time out. This late run has looked good sprinting. How it will work against better horses going longer, it's a different story. But again, I don't like knocking horses that don't lose.
No, I'm with you, but at the same time, you got to acknowledge, and you just did, the fact that you're stretching out, you're facing better horses. There's going to be other pace, and I don't want her.
Pick time for the Zia Park Oaks. This one's just gotten good, the 4 Proud and Fearless for Larry Jones. Her tactical speed really puts her in good stead. She's going to get the jump on the 2 horses I think she has to beat. Sandy Surprise and Ever So Clever. And not a great horse to bet, but if you're playing pick 4s in multiple race wagers, I think you can lean a little bit.
I guess that's the problem. I made her 7-5. She's 8-5 on the morning line. I think she's going to go off shorter than that. If you're playing a multi, certainly she's one that you can maybe use, especially considering this is going to be the payoff leg of the pick 4, so maybe she's the anchor.
Matt's going to go 4, 6, 2, and 1. I'm going to go 4, 6, 2, and 5 in the $300,000 Zia Park Oaks. Race number 10 at Zia on Wednesday has an approximate post time of 4:12 Mountain. Best of luck.